Hello, how are you? My name's Nick Hennigan, and I'm the writer and the producer of the London Literary Pub Crawl. And I just thought I had a phone call this morning actually from someone in the United States of America, which is where a lot of our lovely people come from. And I also had a tour that we did last week, and there was a Dutch chap who said the same thing, and they said, both, it's the first time we've ever been to England and we weren't quite sure what to expect. So I thought I'd just knock this up on the computer and put it on this new YouTube channel for you if this is your first time in America. In England, coming from wherever you're coming from. So you can see I've practiced this a lot. And if you have any specific questions, if you're coming over and there's anything you specifically want to know about London, but Britain and Ireland in particular, then please do let me know. And I've set this YouTube channel up so you can comment. And if you comment, I'll see the comments and I can answer them. I'm sure that makes sense, doesn't it? If you are coming over and you quite like this, if you subscribe, I'll try and do a few more. Okay, so that's the deal. I'm in my back garden, by the way, and it's just the computer, my camera, so there's nothing special. So I'm in West London, so I'm about 4 or 5 miles from the centre of town. You can probably hear the birds singing. It's a very leafy city, is London, as I'm sure you'll know by now. We've got lots of parks and open spaces. I won't show you where I'm sitting because it's of no interest to you, I'm sure. But it's a nice city. It's also, in spite of things that happen, a very safe city. It's one of the safest cities in the world, is London. So you can, rest assured things will be all right. So I've got my notebook here. You need a good notebook, don't you? Yeah, it's a good solid. It's actually an Italian notebook, and I made a few notes just briefly made a few notes because I say literally I had a phone call this morning, so I'm making this up as I go along a little bit. So visiting London for the first time, if you're coming into Heathrow, if you're flying into Heathrow, you can get a cab. You can get Uber. Uber are in London as well. But if you haven't got too much luggage, it might be better to take the tube, to take the underground. And in fact, if you're in London, London Underground is the place to be. Well, I say London Underground, London Transport, because all the buses, the red buses and the tubes are all run by London Underground, Transport for London. And if you are coming, I would recommend quite strongly. Tip 1, I suppose we're supposed to do on YouTube, top 5, aren't you? All right, I'll do my top 5. Tip 1, come to London. Tip 2, if you're coming from Heathrow, have a look at the tube, the underground. Tip 3, wherever you're coming from, get one of these. No, not this. This looks like my wallet, doesn't it? Actually, I'd use it as a wallet. Sorry about that. But in actual fact, it is, although it looks really, really full of money, it's got, it is in fact a Filofax. So there's some receipts there that I've got to sort out, but this is all Filofax. How 1980s, but I find it quite useful. With pigeons, I find it quite useful, and also this is also where I keep this. So tip, whatever number I'm on, 3, get one of these. Now I think you can get one wherever you are in the world before you come to England, before you come to Britain. It's called an Oyster card. If you haven't got one, don't worry. Nearly every tube station, underground station, has a facility to buy one of these little cards. This is the holder, obviously, and you can see it's Oyster, and let's pull it out. Basically, that's all it is, and it's a travel card, and you can top it up. You can either use cash or you can use a debit or a credit card to put money on this. Because it's worth mentioning that you can't use cash anywhere now on Transport for London. So you can't use cash on the underground and you can't use cash on the buses, which you used to be able to do. You used to put money into the thing as you stepped on. You can't do that anymore. You have to have a prepaid ticket, but it's dead easy. So if you've got a debit or a credit card or even a £10 note and you haven't got one of these in advance, I think there's a small charge for this of about a £5. I've had this for so long I can't remember actually, I'm sure. and most underground stations, not just the main ones, some of the smaller underground stations will have a little, you can buy one, you go to the machine It's fairly straightforward, and then just ask for an Oyster card. I won't go into. There are various zones in London as well, so it'll cost you a bit more to go from zone 1 to zone 6, for instance. But don't worry about the zones; it's not a huge amount. And also, it doesn't matter how much you travel. There's a sort of a maximum amount of I think it's about £6 on the tube for. You won't pay any more than £6 a day. If you want to know more about that, please let me know in the comments below, and I will. I'll do something specifically about travelling on the Underground. I personally prefer the buses. They're a bit slower because obviously they're upstairs, you know, and they have to deal with traffic. But the Underground, the buses are quite nice. If you're around Victoria, jump on the number 38 bus if you like theatre, because jump on the 38 bus and it travels all the way up Shaftesbury Avenue. There's a fixed price for buses. I think it's now £1.35, and that's all you'll pay, £1.35 wherever you go. So there's no zones on the buses. So it's £1.35 if you're just going down the road or if you're going to the other side of town. So it's a good deal. And also, the Mayor Sadiq Khan has bought in, I forget what they call it now, but effectively, if you get 2 buses within an hour, you only pay for the 1 bus. That's for people who work, who perhaps early morning people who have to get a couple of buses. On the Underground, once you're on the Underground, you only pay when you come up. So you could get a dozen tubes from the Underground and it wouldn't make any difference. It's the same amount of money. I'm probably confusing you now, so don't worry too much. But if you want to know any more about Transport for London or Underground, then please just comment down below and I'll do it. That was hint number 4. Hint number 5, top 5. Oh yeah, we've done a little deal with the big bus company. It was an ant crawling over my. Hey, I told you I was outside. That plant's not doing very well, is it? Anyway, if I do any more of these, we'll see how the plant gets on. It's springtime at the moment, so yeah. The other thing is, yes, it's worth taking an open top bus tour. Now there are loads of them. And they're all pretty good. But what I've done is I'll leave a link down below to the one that we like the most. As I say, it doesn't really matter. But there's quite a good one, and their tours are very good. Open top bus tour. I only came across it actually because I've lived here on and off since 1977, and when my sister came over, she moved to Australia years ago, and she came over, and we did a bus tour with her, and I was amazed because I live in London, and you tend to take things for granted, so it's worth doing. So that would be my my tip number 4 or 5, and then get an open top bus tour. I'll leave a link below. I'll leave it down there. Look, can you see? Yes, I'll leave a link in my bottom, or whatever it's called. And then my bonus tip, don't forget, nearly all of the museums in London are free. Ah, yes. So you can go to the British Museum. There's the British Library is worth looking at as well. That's up by King's Cross, if you like. And Gloucester Road is the tube station for most of the museums. Natural History Museum is great, especially if you've got kids. Anyway, I won't go on anymore because look at the time. But thank you for listening to this. If you'd like to know anything specifically, just ask me down below in the comments thing. I'll keep doing that. And if you'd like to know any more about coming to London, then again, let me know and I'll do any of these little videos, not just for you, but for anyone else that might be coming. Whew. I hope that helps. If you like pens, by the way, we've got a pen. I quite like an ink pen. I'm a writer. That's why I'm writing as well. Perhaps it's nice. This is a cheap and cheerful. And actually, when I bought it, I realised it actually stands for school pen. I think it's a German thing. Anyway, I digress. Thanks for watching, and I might see you later. Ta-da!